Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to Toned and Toneful, the self-actualization video series, episode 80. Reward requires even more discipline. So in this week's episode, guys, we are going to be continuing the focus and consistency series that we've had going on for April, and talking about how focus and consistency together create true freedom. Many times, people believe that freedom is about being carefree. But freedom is actually the ability to do tasks and to enjoy the muscle memory that we've created through the knowledge and through the development of our craft and skill. And many people do not understand that the reward that comes from being able to exemplify your skill level and competency is not the end of the road. For many, the reward is where they stop working. It could be that they decided that at the end of this project, I'm going to go on a vacation to Hawaii. It could be that they've decided that by the time I get to the end of this road, I'll be finished with this certain thing. But that is not where it ends. It doesn't end just because we've come to a reward. Just because someone has given us a compliment for how we look doesn't mean we should stop taking care of how we take care of our appearance. Just because we've hit that goal weight that we've been trying to achieve doesn't mean that our fitness goals and our fitness lifestyle should end. And for many, unfortunately, instead of the reward being a milestone or a marking point in their process, it becomes the finish line. And this is something that is very, very hard for me to watch people do to themselves, because I've seen many get to certain points and lose the plot and lose where they are, so much so that all the things that they worked for, it crumbles right before them. Our muscle memory is memory as long as we practice the skill enough to keep it in memory. Our capabilities and our understanding of our craft grow as we are immersed in it every day. We are creating new connections in our brain to our body. We are creating an ability to focus for longer sets of time without it feeling like anything. And in that way, consistency feels so easy. But have you ever taken a vacation from your job and come back and had that job actually be harder? Not because you don't enjoy the job anymore, but you realize that that everyday well-oiled machine actually was a little bit easier to maintain than restarting the engine, so to speak. And a lot of people end up trapped in this process. They get to the point where they get to a reward and they stop. If your point in music was to win a Grammy and you win a Grammy, are you done? If your reward in music was to get on a tour and you get the tour and you come back home, are you done? There's nothing wrong with taking a break from things, but the mentality towards the break, the mentality towards where we're trying to take that reward is actually the most important thing. And in that way, the reward requires even more discipline. The discipline to understand that while I'm enjoying this moment, I still must keep continuing the process. That even while I enjoy this moment, I must understand not to fill it with things that are counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. You know, I've seen a lot of people even be in great situations, and myself, who've come to points of serenity. I'm going to give you one for example. You know, when you come to serenity, it's easy to let it go and fill it with junk. If we get to the point that we get to our diet weight, if we get to that point where we finally have free time, where like the time is no longer something that you need to schedule. Say you get to the point where you go, hey, Saturday when I finish these 4 things, the rest of the day is actually a free day. I can do whatever I want. Are you filling it with Netflix and just binging and letting your mind be off? Do you not give yourself any time to attune to who you are and spend time with yourself? Spend time with those that you care about in an intimate and understanding way. These are the moments that we can create real connection through serenity and clarity, and that's consistency. That consistency to be immersed, to be in the process of life. And despite the fact that we have some free time, despite the fact that we can have a moment, doesn't mean that we have to throw it all away to being carefree. Even in our free time, where we have finally created true freedom because of our focus and consistency, doesn't mean to let that go just to being carefree completely. As a matter of fact, I think being carefree should be enjoyed in very small amounts. Not because it's not about the enjoyment of being carefree, but we want to be very careful about how we view being carefree. It's a very addicting state of mind to be in. To be in such a state that my mental gift to myself is that I'm not going to pay attention. My mental gift to myself and what I want is to not really care. That's different than relaxing. That's different than saying, hey, I'm going to take a moment to take a walk, actually notice the trees, actually notice what I'm thinking, notice my breathing, notice the feeling within my body. That is actually still being present. That is still living the process. To notice the bird and then how they fly between trees. To notice the bug and how it's moving. And again, to yourself and to those who surround you, even family members. Oh, wow, every time my daughter and I get free time, she does this. Every time my son and I are together and we play music, I notice this. No matter what, there's a certain level of attention that must be put into the process of life. To watch Netflix and enjoy a show, that's not the problem. There's nothing wrong with going, hey, I'm going to watch an episode of something I enjoy very much. That's not something to take away from yourself. But again, that is always in limited quantities. When we look forward to doing a hard project and the goal is I'm going to binge a show in a day and put 14 hours into watching episode after episode after episode of something, is that really where our mind should be? It's not about productivity at this point. But because you've never taken a moment to be with yourself and put time into the process of being who you are and feeling what your life feels like when it's not busy, you actually don't know yourself as well as you think you do. You know yourself when you're stressed. You know yourself when you're put under tension. And that is something that everyone needs to understand is under tension who they are and how to maintain that. And how to not break because of that tension. But another person that we are is when the tension is released. And when the tension is released, what do you do with it? Is it a bunch of self-care? And does self-care mean that you're scrolling your phone and going to get a back massage later today? That's not true self-care. You actually haven't learned anything about yourself. Because if only for the 15, 20 minutes that you're getting the massage or 1 hour, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're only present then. You can't be present with yourself throughout time and feel who you are to the extent that sometimes it is a little scary. Being alone with yourself, knowing yourself. And in this mindset, I want to present a couple of questions to you. And every one of these questions that I present every time in the Toned and Toneful Self-Actualization series, every time I present one of these, the main point of the questions isn't to make you feel bad. It isn't to present a negative view of something that maybe you thought was positive. It's to reframe your mind and allow you a little space to understand, oh, this is what true freedom is. Oh, this is what this is to me. Because remember, through self-reflection, the answers that are within are now brought out. So I'm going to be asking these questions to you guys, and there's going to be 4 questions like there always is. Question number 1, when you reach a goalpost in your project or purpose, do you reward yourself or stay focused? Do you reward yourself or do you stay focused? Think about that. Question number 2. When you receive rewards, does it enhance the moment or is it the reason for the moment? Does it enhance the moment Or is the reward the reason for the moment? You looked forward to this reward so much that that finish line was more important than living the process. Think about that. Question 3. How can you change your perspective towards reward so it is a checkpoint in the process, not the finish line? How can you be comfortable enough being present and being aware that being carefree and just happy isn't the goal, but being able to be involved in the process? How do we do that? How do you personally want to do that? Think about that. What if the reward didn't exist? What if the reward is just continuing the process? What if someone told you that there was no reward? What if your future self could say you'll never be rich from the things you choose to do? You'll never be successful in a social level. You'll be popular or you'll be this. But the things you do affect your community well. What if they told you you'll affect 100 people in your community very well? But that's it. And you'll work hard for that. You won't just do a little bit. You'll work hard. What if it was that? Just imagine that situation. So with those things in mind, I want to tie up this episode because, you guys are always such great listeners. And, Toned and Toneful on the self-actualization series is a very, very deep level thinking. So I want you guys to think about what it is and how you view reward and how it really does require more discipline for us to take that reward and continue the process without being distracted, to continue the process without being carefree to the point that we lose our ability to be in the moment, to be present, and to be detached. When we care about the reward a lot, when we care about what comes at the end, we push it away. So in an odd sense, things come to those who are going to put the effort in, but they're detached. And detached doesn't mean there's no emotional connection. Detached means I'm good either way. I am good either way, yes or no. I am happy to put this effort and be present in the moment. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode number 80 of the Toned and Toneful video series. Reward requires even more discipline. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Repeat Offender for you guys. I have a great song coming up this upcoming week. And so may you guys have a great weekend, the rest of your weekend, and if you see this early in the week, hopefully it gives you a little bit of a boost to help you stay focused. Above all else, stay toned and toneful.